Kicking off our list at number 1, we have Dark Angel. If you ask any die-hard thrasher, they'll tell you Dark Angel is the quintessential speed and thrash band that somehow never got the mainstream fame of peers like Exodus or Anthrax. If you want to know why, just listen to their 1986 masterpiece, Darkness Descends. It is an absolute clinic in speed, aggression, and precision. They famously said, "We leave our scars," and honestly, this album leaves a mark on your eardrums. Number 2 is a band that is the very definition of a cult classic, Holy Terror. When they dropped their debut album, Terror and Submission, in 1987, it was an absolute outlier. It is widely considered one of the most savage, unrelenting albums of the entire era. But for whatever reason, the band remains largely forgotten by the masses. If you haven't heard it, do yourself a favour and track it down. Moving to number 3, let's head over to the East Coast for Whiplash. This New Jersey trio delivered a completely unhinged, hardcore injected brand of thrash on their 1986 debut, Power and Pain. It's raw, it's messy, and it's brilliant. And here's a fun trivia fact for you. That album features the bass playing of none other than Peter Steele, who would later go on to become the iconic frontman for Type O Negative. Crossing the border up north for number 4, we have Annihilator, Canada's most prolific thrashers. Their 1989 debut, Alice in Hell, is a highly technical, classically influenced masterpiece. Jeff Waters is an absolute shredder, and while Annihilator has a dedicated fan base, their debut rarely gets the mainstream love it deserves when people talk about the greatest thrash albums of all time. Down in Texas for number 5, things got a whole lot heavier with Rigor Mortis. When they released their self-titled debut in 1988, they were playing a brutal, death metal adjacent style of thrash that was way ahead of the curve. The band itself didn't achieve massive fame at the time, but their members were absolute legends who later went on to shape the sounds of Ministry and GWAR. Now, when we talk about 80s thrash, we have to talk about Germany. But for number 6, we're looking at Paradox. While the Teutonic 3, Destruction, Crater, and Sodom get all the glory, Paradox stood out with a more melodic, metallic-inspired style. Albums like Heresy are packed with incredible songwriting, and they definitely deserve a spot in the conversation alongside their heavier German counterparts. Heading over to the UK for number 7, we have Zentrix. This band boasts elite technical proficiency and intricate melodies that rival the best of the Bay Area scene. But, tragically, they are often overshadowed by a single, bizarre footnote in their career, a thrash metal cover of the Ghostbusters theme song. Don't let that fool you, though. Their original material is incredibly strong and highly underrated. Back to the Bay Area for number 8, Toxic. If you like your thrash with a side of progressive rock, Toxic is your band. They were known for complex compositions and sheer technical precision. The problem? Their sound just didn't align with the mainstream, punk-influenced thrash wave of the late 80s. They were too complex for the casuals. But for the prog thrash nerds, they are absolute gods. Staying in California for number 9, we have Forbidden. These guys are often mentioned in the same elite breath as the Big Four, yet they remain criminally underappreciated relative to their sheer technical skill. They were a massive influence on the Bay Area scene, delivering tight, groovy, and incredibly sharp thrash metal. If you haven't spun Forbidden's Evil, you're missing out on a cornerstone of the genre.
But we don't care, we came here to die. Body slam and skin starts to burn.
And finally, rounding out our top 10 at number 10, we have Coroner. Hailing from Switzerland, Coroner was producing killer, mind-bending tech thrash that was light years ahead of its time. They blended thrash with progressive and even industrial elements. Despite their massive influence on later bands like Meshuggah and Voivod, they never achieved the massive following of their American or German counterparts. They are the ultimate musician's thrash band.
Nuclear Moshpit. Burn.
So there you have it. 10 incredible, underrated 80s thrash bands that shaped the genre but didn't get the glory. I want to hear from you guys. Which of these bands is your favourite? And more importantly, who did I miss? Let me know in the comments below.